Greetings, fellow bricklayers and masons. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Going Medieval, Oak Brethren. Episode 2, Excavating the Pond. Okay, it's a spare room, it's inside, and for his benefit, at least for now, I'm going to put a, I'll dig up a little bit of limestone to be able to build, or actually I could use rock clay to build a brazier. So let's go to the allow tool, allow the clay. For a brazier, a clay brazier, I need 10 clay, which I have available to me now. So let's drop a little brazier here, next to mildew. And the inside should warm up. I mean, it's not a really well insulated building, but it should start to warm up for his benefit. So I'll probably keep him awake to build the brazier and to fuel it before he goes to sleep. No. Oh, yeah. Brazier's lit. Okay, good. Intensity, high. I'll burn it hot. Oh, yeah. Now it's already 60 Fahrenheit inside, which is comfortable-ish. And he's no longer suffering from the cold. So braziers can have a different intensity, where the fuel will last a different duration, depending on how hot you burn it. So I think even a medium keeps him warm enough. High is usually reserved for, like, deep winter. Just going around, allowing some of the clay piles here to be hauled back to the base for when we start building in clay. All right, next priority is tailor clothes and make clay bricks. So for research, now that the research table's inside, it's getting a 30% bonus over being outdoors, which is 80%. So it's going to be quicker to unlock research this way. It might be a good time to start planting our barley as well. So I have 3 fields of all the same size. And my remaining colonists that aren't researching can go around, butchering, hunting, and planting. So there was a wolf up there. I saw it. Oh, these are greedy wolves. Killing all sorts of deer out here. And not really fully eating the kills. So I'm looking for any plants that are going to be useful. God, there's dead deer everywhere. Because we don't have a root cellar, there's really not a good way yet to keep the food. There is the ability to preserve food with a little bit more research, where we can smoke it for smoked meats, which will keep a little bit longer. That's not going to be the next research. You guys did vote tailoring, and I think, given the bioavailability of meat around here, I'm not too worried about running out. But harvesting all of the wild barley around the map and wild flax around the map, and then cultivating it, essentially domesticating it for our own use, is going to be pretty handy in the long run. There doesn't seem to be a lot of it, though. Although we're getting a lot of meat, that's for sure. Hauling these random deer carcasses that we found in. So Zent only needs 2 more chronicles, 1 more chronicle, and he'll be able to unlock tailoring. What to research after tailoring? So there's a few different options. 1, I could go with clay brick, so that we can start making stronger walls. Another is terraforming. Terraforming allows you to put down soils, which are going to be really handy for me to design like the way the base is going to look in the future. So that might not be a bad idea either. A third could be smelting. Because having really strong walls is great and all, but if you don't have metal to build doors, your weak points are obviously going to be your doors. So smelting is smart. I'm going to have you choose one of those 3. How's the other's health? He's good. He's just chilling behind me. Happy as a clam. Alright, so here's a basic sewing station. Don't really have a good place to put it because this shack is not well designed for us to really move into. And because we're keeping it warm with the brazier, it's a terrible place to keep meat because it's warm on purpose. But a root cellar is high up on my list of things to build. So, we need like winter clothes, let's say. And I don't really care what we use. So, let's go to jobs, go to tailoring, and have Zent make a set of winter clothes so that we can, you know, have Kadath not be naked all the time. And clay bricks will be next. Got it. You're headed over to the barley, aren't you? Yes. What a weird little base. This is what it looks like from the outside. It's one of those, like, if it was gray metal, it'd be like an ultra modern home, you know, in the suburbia of Los Angeles or something. With like security guards out front and automated gates and everything. But no, here we are in medieval Europe, and still with that same aesthetic. As a big oops. How many days in each year? 48. I should have micromanages harvesting. No, don't go for that. I meant to harvest, not cut. Stop. Alright, Zent, how close are you? Oh, you just finished. Perfect. So now Kadath won't be naked. I like it. Hay is really easy to acquire, so I don't want to have them bother grabbing hay from way out here. The barley's what I'm after. I'm after the wheat, not the chaff, if you will. Suffering from cold? Well, guess what, Kadath? Go wear your clothing that we made you. Where did it? Oh. I'm gonna force you to wear that then. You just like walked right past it. Okay. So, you won't be suffering from cold pretty soon. Good. So we're back on track to get clay brick making. To that end, we are obviously going to need to acquire clay. So I'm going to start by acquiring the clay that is close to my starting shack, rather than get the clay around where I intend to build, because this clay is going to be easier to harvest and process once we live here. So I'm going to leave that clay for later. So I'll start digging up the clay from the earth. Ooh, look at all that barley. We have 2 flax sown, but 14 barley so far and growing. I'll probably not end up sowing any trees just yet. It is important later on to do some of your own forestry, so you don't end up in a situation where you don't have trees near your base, especially if you're in the mountains where there's just a lot fewer trees. In the mountains, it's really important to do forestry. But here, it's less important because there's such abundance. And we are 7 out of 20 books, or chronicles I should say, away from getting clay bricks. So what I'm hoping to do here is turn this pond, it's going to look a little weird, but turn this pond, designing it so that it can have stairs in it. So from a grand view, the way to put out water is twofold, or threefold. 1, really small fires can be stomped out by your people. 2, you can build something called water barrels, where their water barrels are essentially, I think it's in furniture, it's one of the furnitures, but water barrels will have water in them, and the barrels themselves will be flammable. Oh yeah, it's right here. The barrels themselves will be flammable, so that if the barrels catch fire, they release water, or as long as the barrels aren't frozen, you can manually release it to douse the fire in the area. So think of them as like RimWorld fire foam poppers, but very basic. And then the third way is wells. So a well allows you to draw up water from a water source underneath you. Here. And you can only build wells if there's a direct shaft down to water. So what I'm planning on doing is building a tower. Like, think of like a rook in chess, if you want to picture it, where the center of the tower is like a 3x3 hole that goes all the way down to this water source, and there's wells on every level, so that it's really easy to fight fires. So that way, when we defend our city has a really high capacity to fight fires, and we can use fire against the enemies without having to risk our own security. So that's sort of the design. Meaning, there will be like the core of our city will be like a 3x3, and then we're gonna have walls around it. I'm gonna leave a lot of the water alone and just like board over it or whatever. But that's eventually gonna be the concept. But I'm gonna need to unlock clay bricks and terraforming to really get that done the way I envision it. And yeah, the way the water barrels work is if they're exposed to freezing temperatures for too long, they will freeze and form ice blocks, which can be used for refrigeration, to put in your root cellars to keep your root cellars cool in the summer. But obviously they will no longer serve as firefighting implements, meaning that if you use water barrels, you should keep them warm. So they're not great to use external to the base if your base hits freezing temperatures. Or at least they won't be useful in the winter. Cheers. He just got back from grabbing herbs, didn't he? Yes. Oh, and you dropped herb seeds up there. That's the one problem with the slightly larger map tiles. I like them, but trying to get resources from the map edge can suck. How far does water flow if you dig out like canals? If I recall correctly, infinitely. But that was from me playing like 16 months ago, so things might have changed. So at some point I might try for a moat. With that said, with the new siege mechanics, moats are less useful because they can build over them. Except if you use Greek fire, which is like flammable oil that can be set on fire on water. So we can end up with like a flaming moat if we want. We're talking like way late game, so I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that point unless there's demand to see that content. I see you. I see you eating my stuff. Nah, I'm fine sharing with the rats. We're oak brethren after all. Alright, research time. We are half of the chronicles we need. A lot of fish in this water? Yes. That's why I really want to leave the pond alone. Like, not to significantly disrupt the pond. I think what I'm going to do for my own design is to build flooring here. I know it's a little weird. So I can visualize how I want to build the root cellar. Alright, and we are starting to dig up clay. So while we're waiting for the technology to actually make clay bricks, I can amass the clay, which is going to be really handy in preparation. So this is more just like planning and not actually functional. It's not good to leave herb seeds outside. So herbs are very useful for like medicine and fine meals. So amassing as much herbs as you can early on until you have the crop tending skills to plant it is going to be really handy. So we're at Botany 22, and at Botany 25 we can start planting herbs. And research! Oh, we're at 15. So 5 more chronicles and we will have clay bricks. I'm also going to add like a little balcony or awning. I do not, I don't feel good about them. I got plantar fasciitis from trying to dig up clay when I lived in North Carolina. I was trying to aerate my lawn because we had patches of, honestly, the soil was just so clay laden that it was really hard to grow grass. And I messed up my arch of my foot trying to, like, you know, process the clay. So I feel for him having to do that task. But here we go. Clay brick making. Done. So clay kilns. I intend to have 2. So we can process clay faster. And we'll drop them in and start to get clay brick cooking. The next research. So what to research next? We could do smelting. That would allow us to start making ingots of metals. We could do defensive structures for wooden traps. Although the reinforced door needs ingots, so it's kind of like chicken and the egg. Terraforming. So terraforming allows you to place soils down, which is going to be really handy for how I have envisioned my farm. But it's not necessarily immediately needed. We could do preserving food. which allows us to build food shelves and a smokehouse to smoke meats. Oh, let me pause the game for just a moment. And then I'm also going to include cartography, which gives us the region map. And it also gives us the caravan halt. There you go. Got some options there. Alright, friendly visit. A lone traveler. A rangy hawker empties their pack, spreading a selection of oddments on a linen cloth on the ground. So they're trying to hawk stuff to us. Our speechcraft person is Ravak. And I'm going to wake up Ravak to do a little hawking. So they have 10 gold coins. They come from Didcot. They've got beet seed, flaxseed, I already have cabbage. They have more barley if I want more barley. Wouldn't mind it. I'm going to hold off on buying herbs because I can't sow them yet. And I'm going to sell him raw meat, which is kind of mean because it's just going to spoil. It is really doing me no good. Is there anything else I want to buy off them? Maybe alcohol? I'll sell them more raw meat for alcohol. Yeah. Cool. So we got rid of a little over half of our raw meat for seeds and alcohol. Seems reasonable. And he is from the Society of Fellows. So, cool. So we need a beet farm. I'll put down the herb zone, even though we don't have the necessary botany skills for it, just so it's automated the moment we do. But let's also put down a beet field. And this is going to go to flowering. So everything that we're planting right now is going to flowering. So if you go to ripe, you get more of the crop, less of the seed. A 1-to-1 ratio. So basically you get enough seed to replant. Going to flowering gives you twice as much seed, but less of the crop, which allows you to build up a seed supply. So I have most of my things going to flowering so that we can get more seeds for future sowing. It seems to me like by small margin we're going to get smelting as a next tech. And we are surrounded by coal and iron and salt and limestone and clay. We are very resource rich in this map tile, like extraordinarily resource rich. So it should be pretty easy to get metal up. All right. Oh, we got the kilns. So clay bricks, we're going to make forever. And then on top of that, going to the job schedule, crafting is going to be a #1 skill for everyone. So basically everyone makes clay bricks. Basically none of them are particularly passionate about making clay bricks, so I don't really care who ends up doing it. I just want it done. And with these clay bricks, we can start constructing the foundation of our future home. So we're going to save up for smelting, which is 20 more chronicles. And you'll notice our stockpile here is slowly becoming more and more laden with chronicles. So at some point, we'll make an effort to get like a library going. But I would say Root Cellar is the next project to build. One would think. I'm not even going to pull for it. I'm just straight up telling you, like, pretty much the first structure you should get in this game is Root Cellar, so that your food doesn't spoil as frequently. It'd almost be worth making even more clay kilns. So now we're starting to get clay bricks. This is the water level. And I want clay brick stairs. So what I want to do is I want to make clay brick stairs where they are not enclosed in water. So what I need to do for this is to first build the walls around it. Where they're going to go. Except for here, I don't need this as a wall. And then these walls are going to be permanent. These wooden walls are going to be impermanent. Maybe I should offset this down and left one. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. A little messy, I apologize. And if it's hard to visualize what I'm doing, it will make sense once it's done. But I want my food cellar directly underneath this pond. So I'm building an area for it. So in this spot, 1, 2, 3 will be stairs going down. And then in this spot, 1, 2, 3 will be stairs going down. Or actually, the center of this is going to be here now. Or rather here. So the center of the pond is... There will be parts of the pond which aren't exactly centered, but I'm fine with that. Floor. Okay. And then down here, I'm just going to backfill it with clay. Yep. Because it doesn't need to be fancy. We'll never really see this part. So I'm just filling in the divots. Seem risky I place it here? Because I want it there. I don't really need a reason, do I? I am the architect, after all. Ooh, wild barley popping up. Is there more wild flax? Unlike RimWorld that has a new search function. Granted, it took like 10 years for RimWorld to get a search function. Devout oak. Death became more devout oak, brethren. Yeah, it's as good a reason as any. I want it like this. I had mentioned why, which is to be able to manage the fire mechanics more easily. Living over a source of water is going to be really, really handy. So we'll have clay brick stairs where these 3 wooden pylons is, and then we'll eventually dry out this area and have clay brick stairs even lower in this area here. Which means enclosing this area and removing the liquid and then digging under. I envision, and if you missed the first part of the stream, this is probably why, I gave you a shortened answer, because I've already answered. But essentially, I envision the castle that we're building here looking a bit like a chess piece rook as a vertical tower. With our Oak Brethren temple at the top. And, defensive walls and farms, everything built around the center pond. And using the center pond as a way to fight fires more efficiently. I'm gonna see about turning off the fire. For now, I don't see any mood ramifications of that, so I might leave it off. We need 4 more books for smelting. And Kadath is getting pretty close to having this entire area enclosed, which is great. We're also building up a bit of supply of clay bricks with our 2 kilns roaring. The game is telling me to build up my defenses. I'm not exactly worried yet, but this will become a point of concern sooner or later if we don't, you know, start improving our defenses. So, sticking with the clay theme, let's go ahead and get a clay kiln. And we'll build a similar... Oh, you know what? I'll leave it open. I'm surprised it was complaining about... Oh, because I don't... Yeah, I didn't have floors like that. It's fine. Okay, so the hole where we had water is now filled in with clay. And there we go. Once these 2 wall pieces are in, we'll be able to start making our staircase down into the root cellar. I'm also low on raw clay, so we'll have to continually excavate it. So I will opt for brick flooring here. It'll be more expensive, but it's going to be more aesthetically pleasing and also more stable and fireproof and all that jazz. Even if it is going underneath clay brick stairs. So you can start to see the design coming together, where I intend to have another staircase. Ooh, you know what? Is that the wrong spot? Yeah, I would say this is the wrong spot. I'm going to actually cancel that. And change the dimensions a little bit. Slight design change, but not a massive overhaul. Alright, before you leave, haul the bricks off of that spot. As far as food goes, we're still pretty good. Being that we're heading into the summer, it's not like we're short on anything at the moment, which is good. Let's try this again. And, cheers. Now, I've designed this in such a way, it's not centered over the pond, but one of the advantages is there's a lot of potential fishery for trout around here if we need it. So there's a huge potential for getting our fish protein. And now we're starting to get a stairwell down. Awesome. So I'm going to excavate this earth, and the next thing I'm going to build is build a root cellar. And I'm going to keep... so the inner stairwell, the reason why I'm doing it in stone brick is I did mention I want to scale back the scope of a lot of my projects, But trying to rebuild the center stairwell is going to be really, really, really challenging because of the water. So I needed to get this center stairwell done correctly the first time, because redoing it is really not going to be all that possible going forward, because it's a permanent structure, which holds back the water. So if I didn't design it, over-engineer it initially, the spine of our entire fortress would be, you know, in ruins if I had to redo it. It is a core component. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Okay, we've got a little bit of flax. It's not bad. I wonder when the first, like, refugee is going to show up. Should be pretty soon. Plus, Sakura, probably... I'd be surprised if you're not pregnant. How's our wood? 143? So, not a lot. We have a lot more sticks than we have wood. So as far as aesthetics go, I'm not intending for the root cellar to be looking like anything special down here. It's just going to serve a simple root cellar purpose. Meaning I'm not planning on lining the walls or anything like that. We can if we want to go over it sometime in the future, but the first iteration is going to be nice and simple. Alright, so now we have a semi-subterranean stairwell. And mining this section is fine, because there's not water over it. And what we're going to want to do is line... And I was hoping to get terraforming tech. But at least initially what I can do is... Actually, I'll just brick wall it. Like that. So we have a 3x3 center spine to our base. And this is so that we have well access going up the tower. My characters say they're running low on clay bricks. Is that true? Yeah, I guess it is. Not enough resources for... So we need to dig up more clay. We have not been excavating as dutifully as normal. The other thing I could do is to raise the mining priorities up a little bit. But I don't necessarily want to raise the mining priorities for Zent, who is our researcher. Because I still do want research. So I have 23 books towards something new. What to research next? Defensive structures would allow us to build iron doors. Terraforming would allow us to place dirt. Preserving food would allow us to build root cellar shelving. And then cartography is for the maps. Oh, and speaking of which, we have a choice here. It's actually not much of a choice. You are not an Oak Brethren. Goodbye. That's too bad. One of the rules of the series, Oak Brethren only. And she was a restitutionist, so... Yep, we turn her away. There's actually a little mistake here, too. Which I am eager to correct before I continue on this project. Again, this spine is going to be expensive. Let's backfill this with clay. It should look like that. But I don't want to dig that until the above ground is filled in with brick. And one of the reasons to offset this, rather than to build in the center of the pond, is I really haven't displaced too much of the fish. And now there's even pike. Oh my god, there's so much fish around. Okay, preserving food will be next. Got it. After that, I'll leave you with the three original, or the three losing tasks. We're starting to get rot, which doesn't really surprise me, as I haven't made much of an effort to keep it preserved yet. Can we add wooden weapons to the next poll? Nope. I'll add what I want to add. If it's not on the poll, it's because I didn't want it. Not yet, at least. If you're wondering why, the reason is, there isn't anything, there's basically nothing that the Bowyer's table or the wooden workbench is going to allow us to make that we don't already have better. I already have 2 bows and a sword and a buckler and a gambeson. So that research, until I get more people, doesn't allow us to get more armed. I'm not interested in it yet. Because that unlocks flimsy, or crummy bows, and wooden spears, and like cudgels and the like. Not so interested in that. Thank you for tuning in to Going Medieval Oak Brethren, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Oak Brethren.